Welcome to Nach Simanim. I am Jacob Thomas, and today we will be learning Shmuel Bet, perek Yud Chet. So this begins with David HaMelech organizing his army at Machanayim. He carefully divides them into three groups under Yoav, Avishai, and Ittai Hagiti, who are the leaders of the army. He wants to go with them, but they say, no, don't come to war with us, because if you get killed, the entire country is going to fall apart. Your life is too important. But as the troops march out, David gives one last command, saying, deal gently to my son for my sake. Do not kill the young man, Avshalom, even though he's killing everyone else. So battle rages in the forest of Ephraim. Avshalom, riding his mule, encounters David's men. And in this fight, his hair, which has been described as being long, luscious, and there's a lot of it, gets caught in the thicket of the trees, in one of the massive branches. The mule continues to ride away, and Avshalom is hanging between heaven and earth. A soldier sees this. He tells Yoav, but Yoav tells him, I'll give you a lot of money if you go kill this man. But the soldier refuses, so Yoav decides to do it himself. Yoav kills Avshalom with 3 spears. Then 10 of Yoav's armor bearers finish the job. Yoav blows the shofar to stop the battle, to make sure that there's no more casualties of Jews killing Jews. They throw Avshalom's body into a big pit in the forest and pile a massive heap of stones over him, which is a big contrast to the beautiful monument, which actually exists still in Israel, that he built for himself as a king to be his grave. Instead, he dies in a valley with no sons to carry his name. Ahimaaz wants to run to tell David the news. Yoav did not want this young, good man to be the bearer of bad news, and sends a Cushite messenger. But Ahimaaz still runs, and he actually overtakes the Cushi and gets to David first. David is waiting at the gate. He sees this man running and says, I know this guy. It's one guy. He must be telling good news. But Ahimaaz comes, and suddenly he realizes, maybe I don't want to be telling David this. So when the Cushi comes, the Cushi tells David the truth. And David's joy of victory is replaced by his famous heart-wrenching cry, my son Avshalom, my son Avshalom, I would have died for you. Because David, even though his son is rebellious, still deeply cares and loves him. As a recap, we have the instruction that David begs his people to spare his son when he splits them into 3 groups for battle. We have Avshalom getting caught in the oak tree, leaving him helpless as his mule runs away. We have the execution of Avshalom, where Yoav ignores David's wish to kill and kills Avshalom. And we have the messengers that go to David, where he receives the news, leading to have incredible mourning for his son. We are in perek Yud Chet, so just like Zichru, we use a chuppah, because as the Mishnah in Perkei Avos says, ben shmona asrei lechuppah. When you turn 18, you get married. It also kind of looks like a chuppah, Yud Chet. Here's with the simon. Avshalom's hair is caught by the top of a chuppah, and he is killed. This reminds us how Avshalom begins his war with David's men. David stays home because David's men do not want him dead. In the process of the war, Avshalom gets his hair caught on a tree, like a chuppah, and he is hanging there, leading Yoav to kill him, and David to be sad. So one more time with the simon. Avshalom's hair is caught by the top of a chuppah, leading to his death. We're now going to do a 4 perek back chazar, starting with perek Yud Daled, in which we use a juggler. Yud Daled is a yad, which is a hand, and we use a juggler to make it more distinct. Yoav performs a juggling act in order to reunite David and Avshalom. This reminds us how Avshalom was brought back. Avshalom was in exile after killing Amnon. Yoav juggles together the pieces, bringing the wise woman that is able to make a parable about her two sons where one killed the other, and everyone wants to kill her son who's a killer, leading David to realize he should bring his son back. Avshalom doesn't get to see David until Yoav, at the end of the perek, is told has his field burnt by Avshalom, leading Yoav to bring David and Avshalom back together. Now, perek Tetvav, in which we use a fruit, because Tetvav is Tu B'Shvat, which reminds us of fruit. Avshalom wins over the people's heart with heart-shaped fruit. This reminds us how Avshalom started sitting by the courthouse, telling people that he would have been on their side in the court case if he was the king of Israel. Then he starts acting like the king, and at a certain point just says, I'm the king, and goes throughout all of Israel with people saying, Avshalom is the king. David flees in order to make sure that there is not a large war that leads to more death inside of Yerushalayim. Perek Tet Zayin, in which we use an acrobat with big toes. Tet Zayin is toes, and we use an acrobat with big toes. The big-toed acrobat curses out David after stubbing his big toes. This reminds us how, as David is fleeing, Shimei decides to curse out David and says horrible things. David does not want to interfere. David's men want to kill him. David says it's from God and flees. And David gets supplies by many of the people who help him and sends spies to Avshalom in order to try to subvert Achitophel's advice and make sure that David can get secret information to help better win the war. Now, perek Yud Zayin, in which we use a used car. The used car salesman gives David a used car to help him escape from death. This reminds us how Achitophel gives advice to Avshalom, but Hushai gives him bad advice, Hushai was sent by David, that he should wait to do it late, have the war later. And Avshalom decides to use the worser advice, the used car, of Hushai, and Achitophel realizes this and ends up, because he knows that David is going to win, and he kills himself. We have then a description of David's journey and the people that are helping him along the way. We're now going to do a 10-question pop quiz. In which perek is Avshalom caught by an oak tree by his hair? Shmuel bet, perek Yud Chet. In which perek does Achitophel advise Avshalom to attack David immediately? Shmuel bet, perek Yud Zayin. In which perek does Shimei ben Gera curse David and throw stones at him? Shmuel bet, perek Tet Zayin. In which perek does David lament, "Oh, my son Avshalom, my son Avshalom"? Shmuel bet, perek Yud Chet. In which perek does Avshalom set Yoav's barley field on fire? Shmuel bet, perek Yud Daled. In which perek is Amnon killed by Avshalom's servants at a feast? Shmuel bet, perek Yud Gimel. In which perek does David flee Yerushalayim while weeping and barefoot? Shmuel bet, perek Tet Vav. In which perek does David restore the land of Mephibosheth? Shmuel bet, perek Tet. Shmuel Aleph bonus question. In which perek does Shmuel anoint David at Beit Lechem? Shmuel Aleph, perek Tet Zayin. In which perek do we have the first shofet mentioned in the Sefer, and who is the shofet? Shoftim, perek Gimel, who's Othniel. That is it for today. May we be zocha to finish all of Nach, one perek at a time, and remember it day after day. Have a wonderful day.